Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your man, D. Nella Woods, also known as Dr. Marketingstein. You know the deal. But look, I wanted to hop on here because I have not been on, social media for a while because I've been behind the scenes and I've been doing the work. And I must say that I am so grateful and for all of the things that's been coming my way. But I want to kind of talk to you about my journey as an entrepreneur. And I know a lot of people can identify with this journey as an entrepreneur. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming when you have an idea, you know, that you think that can help somebody in the world, and you want to bring this idea to the world. You don't realize right away, and I know I didn't. You don't realize right away to do that. It takes a lot to go into business. So I know when I first got into business, I didn't even realize I was into business. I got into business because I wanted to be the best rapper in the world. I was around the hood like everybody else, uh, doing my raps and infatuated with this new art form that was catered to my generation. But it wasn't until when I got to high school when I met some like-minded people and that was taking it serious where we were starting into more professional studios and all of that type of stuff. And that was a crew called the Ill State Assassins. You could do your homework on that. A lot of great people from Chicago music scene came from that crew as well. Things was looking up. We was, Twister was down with us. We was doing shows. We was going around the country. I remember being in New York with the Gods and the Earths. I remember being in what was it, North Carolina, doing shows, brand Nubian, brand Poop. We was all over the place. Things was really looking up. And I remember people in my crew, we was getting videos dropped on the box and on BET, and it looked like we was going to be the next great thing from Chicago. Me and my man Roddy, we even went even a little further when we went independent and we was doing our own thing. We dropped 2 hot CDs in the streets and we was doing shows and we was right there with everybody that we saw on TV and doing the things that we do and right on those heels. But hip hop is a youth driven business and I began to see like what they call it, what was the iceberg in the water before it got there. And I remember this conversation I had with my man Roddy, um, which is my rap partner, and I was telling him, man, I was feeling us aging out, so I was telling him like, if you have any young dudes in the hood, your little brothers, anybody that want to rap, let's like, get them together and kind of, I guess, mentor them or kind of show them the ropes. Just share some of the information and of the road that we travel when we doing our things. We kind of seen a lot, and maybe they could take the mantle and make it to the finish line. Long story short, time passed, and that's exactly what happened. So I took all the experience uh, that I had from being a rapper because I was the primary person that was generally playing the role of our manager. I was booking our studio time. I was meeting people. I was getting us into the magazines and the media and stuff like that. I even was a big part of the Ill State Assassins where I was a person that helped secure the first distribution deal, one of the first distribution deals that we got from Ichiban Records for one of our record labels. But with all of that said, I didn't realize when in all of my effort of trying to be the best MC in the world, I was actually doing business. Because, and then I kind of reflect back to something that I learned from a motivational speaker by the name of Les Brown. He came to my grammar school when I was in 6th grade. This man said, he was asking everybody in the classroom, what do you want to be when you grow up? And back then, all of the answers was those kind of general mainstream answers. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a police officer, fire officer, a fireman. And he's like, all of those are great answers. And I never forget this man said, whatever you do, if you do something as a career, as something you love and that's natural to you, and it's your natural talent, it'll never feel like work. And that sat with me and that kind of resonated with me. So in my pursuit of being the best rapper in the world, just as natural as rapping on beat came to me was taking care of these small but significant business moves. As a matter of fact, they were significant and large business moves to help advance my rap career. But I didn't look at them as business moves. I looked at them as the things that I needed to do so the world could know I was the world's best rapper. After all of that came to an end, by this time I had um, a couple of rappers that was interested, and they knew the journey that I've taken as a rapper and the things that I've done, and they wanted me to kind of share information with them. So I opened up my first unofficial firm where I mentored rappers. I co-managed a music studio, and I gave them an outlet where they could come and make music and all of these things. And ultimately, when they get to the point of putting out music, I would get them into the blogs. And then that developed into me throwing showcases and being a promoter and having a stage for rappers. And then that developed into me producing a Chicago version of a magazine where I would highlight the rappers. So at this point, I began to realize my true talents. Although I wasn't rapping no more, I was realizing what my true talents was, because this was coming to me just as natural as being a rapper, if not more. And I was more satisfied, I was just as satisfied, should I say, if not more, doing these things than when I was trying to get the world to realize I was the best rapper in the world. So I wasn't sure about this, because to me, I was just sharing information. And one day I was in the studio and I was sitting in a room, and one of the clients from the studio that I co-managed with KXilla is Complex 2010 at the time. He came into my office, and that was a real respectable dude that was making moves in my eyes. And I didn't know him. So this is my very first client. Now, I don't think of my little bros as the clients because I'm sharing information with my family, but this is my first client, paying client, should I say. He walks in there and he says, "Hey, D, man, I like what you've been doing with these little rappers out here, and I see what you've been doing. Could you do for me what you've been doing for them?" And he had a handful, a stack of bread in his hand. And I never forget. Rest in peace, Rob Dobb. He had a stack of bread in his hand. Bam. It was that moment when I realized what my true talents were. So that began to multiply. More and more rappers started coming into my office saying, "Can you do for me what you're doing for those other rappers?" So all of these things that I did for myself, and I thought they was just emotions that I needed to do to make myself the best rapper in the world, or the things that I needed to do, what in essence, I was independent business owner that learned in real time on the job what it takes. And I shared that experience. So if you ever thinking to yourself, I got something to offer, but I'm not sure what it is or how it goes, don't worry about that, because you could take it from me. Sometimes we have to study ourselves and find out what our true passions and talents are. And once we find out what our true passions and talents are, we organize them into a system. And when we organize them into a system, we want to put that stuff together so that we can offer it to the world. So, I just want to share this part of my journey with you, because I'm going to be hopping on here every now and then, or pretty frequently, and I'm going to share with you my journey and the things that I did to get to where I am today. You know, so if there's, I want you to join in. I want you to comment. I want you to share your story. I mean, I'm going to be telling you about the ups and downs, the changes and the turnarounds that it is to being what we call an entrepreneur when you work for yourself. I'm talking about all of the work that it takes, all of the, studying that it takes, all of the discipline that it takes, all of the consistency that it takes. We celebrate the big wins and we learn from the big losses. So that's where I'm going to be going with this. And yeah, so comment below. I'm going to be posting my videos on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Marketingstein Show. So you can please subscribe to the Dr. Marketingstein Show. I'm not a guru. I'm not on here trying to do none of that stuff. Because what I realize is even the people that get on the internet and say, hey, I'm a guru, I made $1 million in a week, I did this and I did that. All of that sounds good, but I'm going to tell you something. I've been grinding for 30 years. And there's only one way to success, and there's no shortcut. You have to do the work. So if you're interested in finding, I will be sharing some good resources as well, not only my story, but I want to tell my story because I'll be holding my story to myself, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels this. So lock in, make some comments, do your whole thing. Once again, my name is Dwight D. Miller Woods, also known as Dr. Marketingstein, and I'll be hollering at you next.